Ukraine, President Biden's controversial decision about a new weapons deal. The president sending cluster munitions to Ukraine as part of a new military aid package to help the fight against Russia. The weapons capable of causing massive damage are banned by more than 120 countries around the world because of their risk to civilians. President Biden defending his decision. James Longman in Ukraine. New images coming in. The massive cargo ship fire now burning for nearly 48 hours in one of America's largest ports. 2 firefighters killed battling the smoking flames. The blaze kicking up and spreading to more decks. The ship now listing, raising concerns it might sink. Eric Katursky at Port Newark. The urgent manhunt at this hour for a murder suspect who escaped from jail in the Northeast. The dangerous fugitive accused of multiple violent attacks last seen in the recreation yard. How he got free, where were the guards at the time? The record-shattering heat, the Earth reaching its hottest temperature for the 4th day in a row. Extreme heat across the U.S. from coast to coast. Temperatures well into triple digits in California and Arizona. Severe storms moving from Colorado all the way east this weekend. Rob Marciano tracking it all. The Walmart shooter getting 90 consecutive life sentences for killing 23 people in a racist shooting spree targeting Hispanics in El Paso. The gunman potentially faces even more punishment, including the death penalty. Following at least 5 reported shark attacks this week alone, New York is ramping up a new shark patrol program using drones to warn swimmers of dangers lurking in the ocean water. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot now at $450 million and growing. An even bigger jackpot at stake tomorrow. A total of more than $1 billion there for the taking.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis in for David. We begin tonight with major developments in the war in Ukraine. President Biden making a crucial decision about one of the war's most controversial weapons. For the first time, the U.S. is including cluster munitions in a new military aid package to help Ukraine fight against Russia. The weapons are capable of causing massive damage. They carry smaller bombs with the ability to spread out over a large area. However, they also put civilians at risk. The decision comes as Ukraine reports its counteroffensive is gaining ground against Russian forces. President Zelensky tells our Martha Raddatz it's not going as fast as he'd like. President Biden calls this a difficult decision, saying the Ukrainians are running out of ammunition. ABC's foreign correspondent James Longman leads us off from Ukraine.
Tonight, the United States commits to supplying Ukraine with perhaps the most controversial weapon of this war so far.
It was a very difficult decision on my part.
Cluster munitions, banned in more than 120 countries, can be launched by an artillery shell, rocket or drone. They scatter mid-flight and then rain down small bombs across a wide area. They can cause massive indiscriminate damage, and bomblets that don't explode on the ground pose a significant risk to civilians, especially children. The Pentagon says Ukraine is running low on artillery shells and needs the munitions to help the counter-offensive, which is aimed at uprooting Russian forces who are dug down in sprawling trenches.
We recognize that cluster munitions create a risk of civilian harm, but there is also a massive risk of civilian harm if Russian troops and tanks roll over Ukrainian positions and take more Ukrainian territory and subjugate more Ukrainian civilians because Ukraine does not have enough artillery. That is intolerable to us.
The US has previously condemned cluster munitions use by Russia, here just 6 days into the war.
We've seen videos of Russian forces moving exceptionally lethal weaponry into Ukraine. That includes cluster munitions and vacuum bombs, which are banned.
But desperate times may have called for desperate measures.
Seems that way. James Longman joins us from Ukraine tonight. James, we know the plan to provide cluster munitions comes with certain conditions. What are those?
Yeah, Lindsay, the major concern from rights groups is unexploded ordnance that may pose a risk to civilians. And so as part of this agreement, Ukraine has committed to not fire these munitions into areas where there are civilians, to record their use every time they are deployed, and to a widespread project of demining once this war is over. Lindsay?
James, thank you. Here at home, the deadly cargo ship fire burning for nearly 48 hours now at one of America's largest ports. 2 firefighters were killed battling the smoke and flames at Port Newark. The fire is flaring back up again today, and now a new danger is emerging. The flames are spreading, the ship is listing, and there are growing concerns that it might sink. ABC's Aaron Katursky is at the port.
Tonight, nearly 48 hours after it started, the fire burning inside this cargo ship in Port Newark is only getting worse. The ship is now listing to one side. The fire is spreading to more decks, and officials cannot say when it will be out.
The fire is going to burn for a couple more days, probably.
The fire is feasting on hundreds of used cars brought aboard for export, and burning so hot, firefighters cannot go inside the ship.
The best situation is to cool the vessel from the perimeter using the fireboats and using hoses from on shore and to try to keep the fire from spreading.
But that's presenting a new problem. Crews have doused the ship with so much water, it's listing starboard.
The issue of the ship listing is a growing concern. It is currently listing 3 degrees toward the dock. A 5 to 6 degree shift is the danger zone.
And tonight, it's still not clear why firefighters who had no training in cargo ship fires were sent in when the 28-member crew had been evacuated. The European equipment on board not compatible with their hoses, the intense heat forcing them to pull back.
Our units, evacuate yourself immediately. Sound your air horns. All units, sound your air horns. Evacuate yourself immediately.
2 of Newark's bravest, Augusto Augie Akabu and Walter Bear Brooks, never made it out.
Great leader, great friend, great brother. Love his family. Love the job.
He was our hero, who we will miss every day and continue to love forever.
So tragic, and Aaron joins us now from Port Newark. Aaron, we see that fire still raging behind you. What's the latest plan to extinguish it without further jeopardizing the ship?
You can see the relentless blast from a water boat, Lindsay, and at the same time, they are trying to get rid of all that excess water by boring holes into the hull, level the ship, and prevent what could otherwise amount to a 12-story building collapse onto the dock. Lindsay?
Aaron, thank you. We move on tonight to the alarming streak of record-shattering heat. The Earth's temperature reaching an all-time high 4 days in a row. The average global temperature hitting its highest level ever recorded, with today possibly marking a new record for a 5th straight day. Extreme heat across the U.S. from California to Florida to New York. Ambulances responding to people overcome by the brutal conditions, which are expected to continue into next week. Rob Marciano is standing by, but first, ABC's Victor Kendo reports from Miami.
After 4 straight days of record temperatures, the world enduring its hottest week ever. And tonight, experts are sounding the alarm.
Heat waves are incredibly dangerous. They don't show the outward signs like tornadoes, floods, or hurricanes, so it's important to prioritize your health and take proactive steps during extreme heat.
And it's record heat from West Palm Beach, Florida, to Caribou, Maine, to Arizona, where they've recorded over 110 degrees for 7 straight days.
As the risk for heat illness surges, all of us are going to be at risk, especially as we get even hotter next week.
The state of Florida, known for heat and humidity, now facing its hottest year. Some cities feeling close to 110 degrees. Miami Fire Rescue ready to deploy this specially equipped bus, normally used for mass casualty incidents.
We will turn this into a cooling station where we can allow people to go inside to cool off. If it's something that they need to lay down, we have cots in here that they're actually able to lay down. But it's a place where they can get out of the heat and into a cooling area.
Tonight, a new push to protect outdoor workers from the brutal heat. Construction and farm workers in Florida are calling for paid 10-minute water breaks and rest every 2 hours if the heat index rises above 90 degrees.
And here in Florida, along with the extreme heat, stifling humidity, which has also been well above average, the peak daily heat index has reached 100 or higher for 25 days straight. Lindsay?
And not much relief in the immediate future, Victor, thank you. And it's not just the extreme heat, there are also severe storms moving from Colorado all the way east this weekend. Let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob, you've been tracking this record heat all week long. How long can we expect these sweltering temperatures to continue?
Well, Lindsay, some folks will get some relief from the heat with these storms, but not Florida. It's going to continue there with heat index readings reaching well up on over 100 degrees. for the next several days. Matter of fact, in Miami today, they hit 97, hasn't been that warm for 3 years. 103 in Miami, 104 in Melbourne. That's what it's going to feel like tomorrow. Drop the humidity in the southwest. But these are inhumane numbers. 116 in Palm Springs, 116 in Palm Springs on Thursday, and similar numbers in Phoenix. Here's a severe weather threat. Little Rock and Memphis Saturday, Atlanta, Charlotte, into DC Sunday, even here into the Northeast come Sunday night, we'll have some storms. Lindsay?
Rob, thank you. Next tonight, sentencing for the deadliest attack against Latinos in modern U.S. history. The Walmart shooter getting 90 consecutive life sentences for killing 23 people in a racist killing spree targeting Hispanics in El Paso. The sentence, part of a plea deal, but the gunman could still face the death penalty. Here's ABC's Maria Villarreal.
Keep going. Run out that way.
The deadly shooting rampage at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, stunned the nation nearly 4 years ago. A 21-year-old white supremacist armed with an assault-style rifle with the intent to kill as many Hispanic people as possible, taking the lives of 23 people and injuring dozens more. Tonight, a judge sentencing that gunman, Patrick Crusius, to 90 consecutive life sentences after he pleaded guilty to federal hate crime and weapons charges. Immediately after, a family member crying out, "We'll see you again, you coward." The father of 15-year-old Javier Rodriguez, the youngest victim, reacting to what happened inside that courtroom. "It makes me mad," he says, "but nothing we say or do will bring my son back." On August 3rd, 2019, Crusius drove more than 11 hours from Allen, Texas, to the border city of El Paso, opening fire even before he entered the store. Police say minutes before the attack, he posted a document online denouncing race mixing and urging migrants to go back to their home countries. The killer showing little emotion in court, his lawyer saying Patrick takes responsibility for his actions and the harm he's caused, adding his client will leave prison in a coffin.
We hope that now this process will allow the community to begin to move forward and to heal.
And Lindsay, the shooter still faces a state separate case where he's facing capital murder charges. We understand the district attorney is now saying that if he gets a conviction in that state case, he will be pursuing the death penalty. Lindsay?
Maria, thank you. Next tonight, the urgent manhunt for a murder suspect who escaped from jail in Pennsylvania. The dangerous fugitive is accused of multiple violent attacks. Authorities describe how he got free and where the guards were at the time. Here's ABC's Mona Kosarabdi.
It's the kind of jailbreak you see in the movies. A murder suspect on the run after shimmying down a rope made of bed sheets.
We want the public to be vigilant, and we want them to be aware. This is a very dangerous person.
It happened overnight in Warren County, Pennsylvania, where 34-year-old Michael Burham was being held in the local jail. He's a suspect in a string of crimes, including a murder and rape in Jamestown, New York, and a kidnapping. Before he found himself in that Pennsylvania jail, Burham had led authorities on a weeks-long multi-state manhunt. Authorities say late last night, Burham found himself in the jail's outdoor recreational area. No guards around. Authorities say they were monitoring the prisoners on a surveillance camera.
He elevated himself on top of a piece of a exercise equipment and was able to exit the yard through a metal gated roof. He then used bed sheets that he tied together and was able to escape to the ground from the roof.
Police tonight warning the prisoner is considered very dangerous. Local residents living in fear.
I got a kid, I got wife, I got the door locked. I won't even let my little one outside today. It's just too much.
And Lindsay, at least 10 federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies are searching for Burham, but police admit that they have no idea where he is. They say he's a survivalist, and they're asking people to check their home security cameras, but warn that he is very dangerous. Lindsay?
Mona, thank you. Following at least 5 reported shark attacks this week, New York is launching a new shark patrol program. As many as 42 more drones will be taken to the air to watch over swimmers at beaches along the coast. Here's ABC's Trevor Alt.
Tonight, drones are ramping up their search of the New York coast, patrolling for any sharks dangerously lurking in the Atlantic Ocean and Long Island Sound. Governor Kathy Hochul announcing plans today to deploy dozens of those new shark monitoring drones, potentially tripling their fleet after an unprecedented spat of shark attacks. 5 apparent bites in the past week alone.
My first reaction to when the shark grabbed my foot was to immediately get out the water and get help.
Lifeguard Carrie Epstein says these drones are another tool to keep swimmers safe.
Our eyes in the sky gives us a completely different vantage point.
Experts say warmer water is drawing the predators closer to shore. The International Shark File reports 20 confirmed shark attacks in New York's recorded history, but 8 happened last year, and officials say this year's attacks prove a new reality.
Last summer was not an aberration, but that what we're looking at.
Drones will go on multiple daily sweeps, and they're also going to have lifeguards out on wave runners to keep an even closer watch on these waters. Lindsay?
Trying to keep swimmers safer. Trevor, thank you. A new headline tonight about the American economy. The Labor Department reports the U.S. added 209,000 jobs last month. While a strong number, it's also lower than expected. The nation's unemployment rate dipping to 3.6%. The report suggests the Fed will likely resume rate hikes when it meets later this month. When we come back, thousands of passengers waiting to set sail 24 hours after their cruise ship hit a pier, and lotto fever soars as 2 combined jackpots top $1 billion.
My A1C was up here. Now it's down with Rybelsus. Is A1C?
It's down with Rybelsus.
My doctor told me Rybelsus lowered A1C better than a leading branded pill.
And that people taking Rybelsus lost more weight. I got to my A1C goal and lost some weight too.
Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rybelsus with a sulfonylurea or insulin increases low blood sugar risk. Side effects, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Need to get your A1C down?
You may pay as little as $10 per prescription.
Claire stayed in this amazing hotel and paid this much for her room. Jess found the same hotel in Trivago and paid a lot less. Trivago compares hotel offers from major booking sites so you can find the best deal for you. Hotel Trivago.
You should Angie that.
Angie what?
Angie that. It means comparing custom quotes from skilled service professionals or booking at an upfront price so you can find the best price for you. Get started today at Angie.com.
If you're still having bladder leaks, it's time for a change. Axonics Therapy gave me my life back. It's not another pad or pill. It's amazing that a tiny device can provide 15 years of relief, and you can try it out first. Get started at findrealrelief.com. Ask a bladder specialist if Axonics Therapy is right for you and to discuss potential risks. Results and experiences may vary. Let's get your life back.
Next tonight, the pursuit of the American dream ends in a tragedy for a former interpreter for U.S. Special Forces in Afghanistan. Nazrat Ahmadyar, a 31-year-old father of 4, was working as a rideshare driver in Washington, D.C. when he was fatally shot. Police are now investigating, releasing this surveillance video of 4 people fleeing the scene. He left his homeland after the Taliban took over and U.S. forces left in 2021. And thousands of passengers are awaiting their departure one day after a cruise ship crashed into a pier while docking in San Francisco. Crews have been working all day to repair the ship's hull and dock, which were both damaged during the collision. Those passengers are now waiting for the Coast Guard to clear the ship to set sail for voyage to Alaska. When we come back, the big money up for grabs as Mega Millions and Powerball jackpots top a combined $1 billion.
I'm Sherry.
I'm John. I'm a pharmacist. As we were starting to age, it's like, well, how can we help our cognitive abilities? We saw Prevagen. I did read the clinical study and went ahead and gave it a try. I feel that Prevagen is helping me with overall clarity, and as a pharmacist, I've recommended it to not only just customers, but also to friends and family as a safe product to try.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription.
One Aleve works all day, so I can keep working my magic. Just One Aleve. 12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve, who do you take it for?
Beneful knows a full life doesn't just happen. It's a choice to take a swing or take that big leap to taste all life has to offer. Because a joyful life is a Beneful life.
Upon his first day of retirement, Marcus Rogers made a contract with himself. I will never again work for another man or woman. Or Todd, especially Todd. I lay down my badge, abandon my corporate phone plan, and I'll get a new plan with Consumer Cellular, without a contract, without sacrificing coverage.
Let's go, birds.
When freedom calls, we're here to answer.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well. Story to tell. Once.
Jardiance works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardiance can lower the risk of cardiovascular death too. Jardiance may cause serious side effects including ketoacidosis that may be fatal, dehydration that can lead to sudden worsening of kidney function, and genital yeast or urinary tract infections. A rare life-threatening bacterial infection in the skin of the perineum could occur. Stop taking Jardiance and call your doctor right away if you have symptoms of this infection, ketoacidosis, or an allergic reaction. And don't take it if you're on dialysis. Taking Jardiance with a supply urea or insulin may cause local...
It's easy to think that all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
Nope, Fisher avoids them.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Never at Fisher Investments.
Okay, then you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we structure our fees so we do better when clients do better. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
To the index now, Jimmy and Rosalind Carter marking a major milestone today, their 77th wedding anniversary. They are the longest married first couple, but both facing serious health issues. The former president has been in home hospice care since February, and the former first lady has dementia. And more than $1 billion in lottery jackpots at stake this weekend. Up first, tonight's $450 million Mega Million lottery with a cash option of $225 million. And if you strike out, well, there's still the Powerball drawing on Saturday night. That jackpot is more than $615 million with a cash value of $310 million. And when we come back, the family reunion tradition that's 100 years strong.
For COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri. Breztri gives you better breathing, symptom improvement, and helps prevent flare-ups.
Breztri won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. It is not for asthma. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Don't take Breztri more than prescribed. Breztri may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur.
If you have COPD, ask your doctor about Breztri.
I'm Steve. I lost 138 pounds in 9 months on Golo and taking Release. Golo saved my life. I was way overweight, and that's what sent me down the path. Was I wanted to make sure I lived for my kid, plain and simple.
I was told my small business wouldn't qualify for an ERC tax refund.
You should get a second opinion from Innovation Refunds at no upfront cost. Sometimes you need a second opinion. Gotta go. Yeah, they go get a second opinion. All these walls gotta go. I'd love a second opinion.
No.
I'm gonna get a second opinion. With Innovation Refunds, there's no upfront cost to find out, so why not check like I did for my small business? Take the first step to see if your small business qualifies for the ERC.
Claire stayed in this amazing hotel and paid this much for her room. Jess found the same hotel in Trivago and paid a lot less. Trivago compares hotel offers from major booking sites so you can find the best deal for you. Hotel Trivago.
Kayaking is my thing.
Running is awesome. But her moderate to severe eczema would make her skin so uncomfortable.
I was always so itchy, especially when it was hot.
Now my skin doesn't itch as much.
Now we're staying ahead of her eczema.
There's a power inside all of us to live our passion, and Dupixent works on the inside to help heal your skin from within. It helps block a key source of inflammation inside the body that can cause eczema, so they can have clearer skin and less itch. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor.
Healing from within is a wonderful thing.
Ask your child's eczema specialist how Dupixent can help heal their skin from within.
I'm your overly competitive brother. Check. Hey, I'm about to steal this game from you, just like I stole Kelly Carter in high school, huh? You got no game. Dude, that's a foul. And now you're ready to settle a score. Game over. And if you don't have the right home insurance coverage, well, you can end up paying for all this yourself. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me. Thanks, bro. Take a lap, rookie. Real mature.
Are you concerned that the Russians might use explosives in the nuclear plant?
Sunday morning, Volodymyr Zelensky, the breaking new Martha Raddatz interview from inside Ukraine. Sunday morning on ABC's This Week.
Finally tonight, the family living, loving, and gathering together for 100 years. Summer is often a time for family reunions, but this one takes it to a whole new level.
Look at all the people. Can you believe they've kept this going for 100 years?
Every 4th of July for an entire century, the Leydig family has gathered together just like this. Keeping with tradition, the reunion takes place in Bremen, Indiana, the family's ancestral farming town where relatives come from all corners of the country to reconnect, reflect, and share recipes handed down throughout the generations. John and Mary Leydig began the annual family ritual in 1923. After their children had children of their own, the growing family gathered every year, despite the Great Depression, World War II, the baby boom, and all the other ups and downs of the last 100 years. With more than 350 in attendance, name tags are a necessity. There's the traditional Guess the Number contest and yearly softball games. Favorites for the young and old.
There was water balloon fights, there was softball games, there was always the activity. So for me growing up, I was always looking forward to that.
Each year welcoming the oldest and the youngest.
Fifth generation.
And a seemingly endless potluck meal lining an entire wall of the community church.
My grandfather used to bring grapes and cherries every year for a snack after the ball game, so I've done that this year to honor him.
And every year you can find Bill Marone here. His sign holds special meaning.
My dad actually had that sign made. So it's always great seeing that sign when I come in.
6 generations of Leydigs, thankful for the country they share and this family tradition that keeps bringing them back together.
You make it a priority. Make a tradition of getting together, whether it's for the 4th of July or other holidays, and keep that tradition.
Nothing like family. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis for David and all of us. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most wanted.